You did not include in your autopsy in any fashion any discussion of whether Mr. O'Keefe's injuries were consistent with a motor vehicle accident, did you?
No, I did not.
Did you evaluate it all in your autopsy whether Mr. O'Keefe had any injuries consistent with a motor vehicle accident?
Objection. I'll allow that. Yes, I did examine his lower extremities. That is protocol in any case of suspected impact with a motor vehicle. So I did examine his legs, and I did not see any evidence of an impact site. What I look for is some sort of bruise, either on the outside of the leg or bleeding on the inside after the skin is reflected in the soft tissues, or any fracture of the bones of the legs. I did not observe those things.
Welcome back. We are live in Dedham, Massachusetts. We've got a live studio audience. They are full of opinions, full of questions. Let's go to Matt Johnson, who is with them right now. Matt, what's on their mind tonight?
We have a long line from the best studio audience in live television here behind me. So I have Kate. You, of course, have been following the trial since the beginning. So what's your question for our panel and Vinnie?
My question is for Vinnie. Vinnie, you very demonstrative on how you feel about Stephen Stearns and Lori Daybell, but you've at least I've never heard you come out and say how you feel about this case.
How I feel about this case? Well, are you saying you want me to vote guilty or not guilty?
Yes.
Is that what you're doing?
Please, please.
I have counselor. Can I take the fifth on this?
Yeah.
Can I take the fifth? I can't render a verdict yet on this. I was with the jury first time. I didn't think either side proved what they alleged. I didn't think a conspiracy was proved, and I didn't think a murder was proved at the last trial because of the expert testimony. So we'll see what is proven in court. I go by what it proved. What my gut tells me doesn't mean anything. It's what they can prove inside the courtroom.
Okay.
She put me on the spot. Did you see that?
I love it.
Did you see how she did that?
All right, Vinnie, our next caller here is Elaine. Tell us what's on your mind. What questions do you have about the Karen Read retrial?
It's probably for this side of the panel. My question is, if you think, as I do, that Karen Read was framed, who do you think was the mastermind of the plot? And at what point did they decide to make Karen the fall guy?
Well, I mean, someone that morning made over 200 phone calls, hence why all the calls were deleted. Someone made a lot of butt dial phone calls that night. In my opinion, I think, you know, Jennifer McCabe and Michael Proctor had a lot to do with this, but at the end of the day, I'm not sure exactly specifically what happened in that house to John O'Keefe, but I do have a really good feeling he went inside that house.
All right, we have Tori, who is joining us in our studio audience. Where are you from, and what's your question?
I am from North Providence, Rhode Island, and I have a general question just for anybody on the panel that wants to answer it. So if the impact was strong enough to make over 40 shards of glass explode from the tail light, then how come John O'Keefe did not suffer any broken bones on any major extremities or on his torso?
That's a great question, and that's, of course, what that side is arguing. But I also think that, you know, the medical examiner, you know, she's saying, well, you know, it's possible, this is possible. So I think that, you know, maybe the way he fell, the way he rolled, you know, I don't think he went 30 feet, but I do think that there's all sorts of ways that this could have happened without him breaking arms and legs and feet and all that stuff.
You know, that question was as tough as the question I got. So.
I know. Yeah, it was a tough question. A very good question, actually. Yeah.
Okay, so I have Carla here with me. So did you watch Trial 1, Trial 2?
Both, yes.
Where are you from?
Yarmouth, Cape Cod.
What question do you have? What's on your mind?
So Officer John O'Keefe's death was undetermined, and today they brought out in court that Dr. Scorti-Bello received additional information, and she still said the death was undetermined. Do you think that the Commonwealth was trying to get her to change her mind?
I do. What do you think, Joe?
What they did do to people that watched the trial is they pointed out information, a wealth of information that had not been forwarded to her. In my mind, none of that information should in general. A doctor should look at the medical injuries and determine cause of death. The doctor is not a lawyer, is not an investigator, is not determining what actually happened at 34 Fairview. So I think it's been hyperbolized.
All right, I am now joined by Lisa. So tell me, where are you from? Did you watch the first trial? When did you get involved in all of this, and what's your question?
I got involved with Turtle Boy even before the first trial, so I watched the first trial, this trial, and
what's on your mind for that panel right there?
This one's for Vinnie.
Okay.
As well.
Two tonight. All right.
Well, no, you were in court today, so I just want to know if you saw a difference in the jurors' reactions between the direct examination and the cross-examination.
No, I didn't. What I did notice, because a lot of it was directed to photos that were up there. So I even wrote this down in my notes, that about half of them were focused on the pictures as the cross-examination and the direct was taking place. And then there were a few that were doing the tennis match, which as a lawyer is what you want. You want them listening to the question, listening to the answer, listening to the question. And then there was one, she is just buried in there writing the whole time. And she's young, but she's writing a lot of notes, might have just gotten out of college. But I didn't notice any decisive difference between the two.
I think that they're very stoic, even more so than the last trial.
They can also be confused.
But they're very serious.
Yeah.
So,
No, they are 1,000. I've seen jurors like drifting in trials through the years. Not this juror.
I've seen jurors fall asleep. Yeah. Jen, is it?
Yes, Jen.
Where are you from? And tell me what's on your mind with this panel.
Yeah, so I'm from Rehoboth, Mass. And as you mentioned earlier, we heard from independent medical examiner Dr. Scorti-Bello today. We also will hear from ARCA, who may or may not, people may consider independent or not. I think from the first trial, the most independent witness, and credible witness that I heard anyway, was patrolman, police officer, Dayton police officer Nicholas Barros, who said that he was 5 to 10 feet from her SUV before it was taken into custody and saw a cracked, not fully damaged taillight. Will we hear from him?
Yeah, I think we're going to hear from him because he's now on the defense witness list when he was last time on the Commonwealth witness list, and I think that alone shows the impact of his statement. So yes, we will hear from him.
Matt, I've got bad news.
Are we out of time?
We are out of time. But we've got another hour coming up. Big thanks to Nick Rocco, Peter Ellicott, of course, Margaret McLean, and Joseph Krowski Jr. When we come back, something else you need to know tonight.